Nicknamed Florida's best-kept secret, the United States Sugar Corporation's private railroad might only live up to that name in the railfanning world. It still is a pretty rarely photographed operation, running in the far reaches of the USSC's sugarcane fields south of Lake Okeechobee. Our first train of the morning came to us outside of the corporation's Clewiston refinery, where all loaded trains are destined and all empties originate. USSC has over 130 miles of track crisscrossing their 230,000 acres of cane fields, utilizing about a dozen locomotives and over 800 rail cars. The land down here is so flat that you can see trains approaching and retreating from miles. Our first train is now only about a mile away as it eases into the Clewiston facility where the raw cane will be unloaded and refined, producing molasses as a byproduct. USSC has cleverly taken advantage of their molasses production, sending a daily road train out of Clewiston for the FEC with molasses for nationwide distribution. The road train also hauls closed hoppers full of wheat, which are sent up the FEC and onto the rest of the world. Apparently there wasn't any molasses coming out of Clewiston this morning, but I was still happy to have seen the road train. Driving through the cane fields, we came upon a railfan's worst nightmare: active maintenance of way equipment. At first glance, this appeared to be a detrimental indication of our near future, but more putzing around in the fields brought us upon a stationary cane train with what appeared to be a GP11 leader. We zigzagged our way through the fields and had finally come up on the train just as it began a reverse shove. We were cursing our luck, but quickly realized this was only done in order to retrieve the train's conductor, and the cane train was soon en route towards Clewiston with its gorgeous little leader. There's a unique feeling that accompanies an awesome train like this in such a remote location, and I was certainly feeling it as the cane loads trundled by, making for the train of the day. Something cool about the USSC's fleet of rolling stock is that it's well over the FRA cap of 40 years of age. However, the cane cars are captive to the USSC property and therefore fall under an exception to the FRA rule. During peak season, these cars are cycled in and out of Clewiston more than once a day, which in turn makes for over 700,000 tons of finished sugar every winter, roughly 10% of America's supply. GP11s are loved by most rail fans, and for good reason. The locomotive model was never made official by EMD, but rather rebuilt by the Illinois Central's Paducah shop forces from aging GP7s, GP9s, and GP18s. Nicknamed Paducah rebuilds, the little beasts are still earning their keep more than 40 years after their second lease on life, just like USSC number 308, which has nearly tripled its train size since we first saw it, easily bringing 40 loads into the Clewiston refinery. On the other side of the plant and near downtown Clewiston sits the USSC's engine shops, where we stumbled upon an EACX GP15-1. It's clearly leased by the USSC, but I could never figure out from what firm. The EACX reporting mark only led me to dead ends when looking into it. The mystery switcher was waiting for yet another GP11 to amble by, moving light out of the refinery and presumably back to the fields near Moorhaven for more inbounds. We stuck around for a little while longer to watch the 1547, but decided to move back south of Clewiston just in time for one more inbound. We had a decent 3-hour drive back home and decided to call it a day after this cane train. Thanks for railfanning with me today. I hope this operation was as interesting to you as it was to me.